Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is my brother-in-law's 1980 f100 long bed. This is a testament to why you just go ahead and wait for somebody to come pick your stuff up when your throttle cable is sticking. Yeah. So the deal with this here, and this is just, it's kind of hairy. That's a 302 in there somewhere. This would be, wiper cowl, and center of the motor is behind that. This is not a 4th gen F body, so that's wrong. That's not where that should be. Pretty much push the frame back. You can't see this. Push the frame back to the crank pulley. It doesn't appear that it hit the crank pulley because the motor moved back. I know that kind of sounds counterintuitive, but you'll see in a minute. The mirrors, that's like, they're not floppy. He hit the tree so hard, they shot forward. And there's the steering column. Just drink that in for a minute. That is a hard hit. So basically, his steering, or his throttle cable was sticking, and he pulled over, and he was supposed to call me to come pick the truck up, and he never called me. I was going to get my trailer and come pick it up for him. He got it broke loose, and I guess decided to just continue to drive it. Yeah, I should have prefaced this with, he survived somehow. I mean, he is quite jacked up, like staples in the head, broken femur, broken foot, jacked up. But I mean, look at that. That's where the column's supposed to be. That's where it is. Anyone who knows physics or how columns are installed should be able to appreciate that. And see the zip ties on the low car throttle cable? Whoever installed it had it kinked behind there because it's the wrong throttle cable, and that was the whole thing. And the purpose of this video is just to kind of drive home that haste makes waste. He was in a hurry. He didn't want to deal with putting it on a trailer and getting it somewhere and all of that. So he bootlegged it the best he could. And it ended his truck, and it damn near ended his life. Just to kind of, one thing that's just kind of amazing about this. This is kind of annoying. I don't know if you can see that, but somehow the back glass is bowed without shattering. Yet every time I try to take the back window out, it explodes if you touch it. And I mean, it's not like sand. That shit is glass. It's just an amazing hit. And there's your trans and your trans cross member. Obviously the frame up there is fragged. It's also been out right there. I'm thinking the engine and trans may possibly have survived this. We'll see. We're going to cut the front of the truck off and see what it does. But yeah, that's it's a great reason not to get in a hurry. Oddly enough, the wheels and tires survived. which are like the most expensive part of the truck. I mean, you can see valve cover hit the firewall, knocked the firewall back. Knocked the AC box clean off the firewall. I mean, that's just a ridiculous hit. Look at the floor. I mean, that's not what this... Just look at the pedals. Just so happens there's another one of these sitting over here. So we can compare the floor pans. See that? Yeah. You can see the center of the motor is not under the cowl. It's like third plug at the cowl. So that thing went back at least 4.5, 5 inches. Okay, so there's kind of some things I wanted to go over here. This incident with this truck. It's caused by something that we are all guilty of. I know I'm especially guilty of it. So the deal is, his throttle cable was being sticky, as I mentioned before. Instead of calling me to come pick the truck up with my trailer and, look at it, he apparently figured something out, or thought he figured something out. And, well, obviously he didn't. We're assuming that the throttle cable stuck and that he, wasn't able to get it shut down. He doesn't actually remember anything prior. Like, he doesn't remember the wreck. He's got a bunch of stitches. So, piecing it together from what we know, I know the throttle cable was sticking. He was having issues with it. We were working out, we going to pick the truck up. He apparently got it broke free. Not broke free enough. We all get hasty. Georgia State Patrol seems to think that he's going about 85 miles an hour when the impact happened, and from the damage I'm seeing, that's pretty conducive. I mean, the video really doesn't even do it justice. The whole thing is just, it's literally a miracle that he walked away from it. So that's kind of why I wanted to make a little bit of a public service announcement here. He has broken foot, broken femur. I don't know how many staples and stitches in his head, but I mean, it's from here down, and I mean, obviously there are photos of it that I'm not going to include, but this is one of those decisions. Doesn't seem like a big deal. I know I've done it more times than he has, and it's easy to ask, why didn't he cut it off or throw it in neutral and blow it up? And, it's easy to talk about those things when you're armchair quarterbacking it. But when you're actually in the situation, maybe you would, maybe you wouldn't. He's not really like super car guy. He just wanted an old truck with some wheels that made noises. Once again, it's an absolute miracle that he survived it. I imagine he's probably going to have some lasting emotional scarring, which is really the thing that no one thinks about. You know, you think about the physical injuries and all of that, but anyway, you know, all this comes from, you know, not wanting to spend time or money. I mean, if he had paid somebody to tow the truck, I'm doing like what, $7,500, which, you know, seems like a lot at the time, but when it costs you your build, or in his case, almost cost you your life, what is it really worth? And you know, it's just like when we buy cheap parts. We all love cheap eBay parts and Amazon parts. Mind you, the throttle cable was a low car, and I'm not saying it's their fault. I hate low car, but I'm sure there was some bad install or something. I've spent really no time around this truck other than seeing the outside of it. Yeah, like Sunday, which is when this happened. I was driving my project truck to Longhorn to pick up the food I'd ordered, and on the way back, I actually had my throttle start sticking. It's because I have a cheap eBay or Amazon throttle body that I think the screws are backing out of it and the throttle blade's sticking. But I went ahead and limped it home. I mean, I have a car trailer, I have a tow rig, I have a daily. I could have called somebody to bring that down and pulled it up on the trailer, but instead I drove it like 6 miles the way it was behaving. So I mean, it could easily, you know, have happened to me. And like I said, I've taken these chances many more times than he has. Like, you know, 1,000 horsepower trucks are fun. Race car stuff is fun. Car shenanigans are fun. All he really does is just drive around. Like, he's not into horsepower stuff or any of that. And I mean, maybe if he were, he might have threw it in neutral. But the point is, you know, we all become complacent with safety or saving a few bucks. And I'm not saying don't use cheap parts. I'm just saying use cheap parts with care. Lord knows I use all the cheap parts. But, you know, that $100 tow bill is not worth your life. And I think we all kind of, I'm sure anyone who's going to watch this video is probably guilty of the very same thing. And yeah, I would caution you to just think about that next time. I'm out here trying to cause people anxiety by video, but seriously, I mean, you know, what's it worth? That was actually a pretty straight old truck, and obviously that thing is KO'd. Like there's no saving that. Like literally, I think the bed is probably the only untouched part of the truck. And who's to say that it's not, you know, tweaked too? I've only seen it at night and it's flat black, so it just, yeah, there's no sense in it. So basically, you know, I would like for all of you to be safe, or all of us to be safe, because this hobby does tend to make you fast and loose, because we all want more stuff than we can afford. And if you can afford that, then you're not going to want that anymore, and you're going to want even more stuff. So, you know, we're all about hack mating stuff. But when it comes to stuff like your throttle cable or your brakes, stuff like that, that may kill you or remove all of your stuff. I mean, what's that $100 tow bill worth versus these hospital bills he's going to have? And I'm sure he's probably going to have to do some sort of rehabilitation. You know, that's $80, $90, $100,000 later. So anyway, hope you all have a nice evening, and you know, just think about it.